Number one, we need to find ways to help districts use data beyond just academic data to think about achievement gaps. We talked about specifically data around culture and climate, engagement data, maybe student survey data, and then disaggregating that by groups. So we had some conversation about why are they just using academic data, because gaps exist in the whole gambit of areas in terms of the families and students' experiences. And maybe before that, we need to just help districts use data, because a lot of our experience around the table was that districts have trouble even calculating, believe it or not, calculating gaps and even setting goals. So we'll, the Credence Clearwater Revival Group over there. Every time people say CCR, I have to like, wait a minute. The dangers of acronyms, right? Don't get me started. I think this was also an echo of the CCR group. We need to help districts, and we did talk about some specific strategies, but in limited time, we won't go that deep. Support districts in creating shared ownership of goals and programs, because an Achievement Gap goal is not just owned by the Achievement and Integration program. Or the gap between SPED and the all-student group is not just the responsibility of the SPED teachers. It's a shared responsibility. So how can we help districts create shared ownership? Let me change that. How can MDE ourselves, and how can we also help districts create shared ownership of goals and programs and connections between goals and programs? So we talked quite a bit about that. We need to provide some specific guidance that World's Best Workforce requires addressing all gaps. It stood out to us that many districts, the majority of districts, only set goals like maybe for a handful of gaps or one gap. When World's Best Workforce requires, Stephanie, I think, all gaps, right? And so my personal, it bothered me a lot that districts took the easy route and set goals for gaps between free and reduced price lunch. That drove me bananas when I read the report, but I was like awake that night. And then finally, explicitly providing some guidance and helping districts understand that setting an all students goal does not address gaps. They need more targeted goals for all groups of students if they're going to address gaps. So, is that okay?
Questions?